Our theme for today is Wise Beginnings. This is our series about Solomon, part 2, from 1 Kings chapter 1, verse 39. Later on, I'll include verses 52 and 53. Then Zadok, the priest, took a horn of oil from the tabernacle and anointed Solomon. And they blew the horn, and all the people said, "Long live King Solomon." Now, in this opening verse, David was already old and soon ready to die. And Solomon, before he was anointed to be king, understood that with all of his other brothers, since his father had 4 or 5 wives, all of these brothers had a lot of competition as they're trying to vie to see who would become the next king. And it resulted in murders and treachery and all kinds of terrible things. So David's family was not a very good model of a family. So just before Solomon became king, the people were all concerned because David was about ready to die. Well, Solomon's older brother, named Adonijah, he had already decided to take several of David's loyal supporters from his regime and go outside of Jerusalem to another place. And here he would set up his own kingdom and just announce that he's the king. Well, David already knew that Solomon should be the next king. But anyway, while Adonijah was having his celebration, announcing himself as the new king, Nathan the prophet looked around and realized there's not enough people here, and how come he wasn't invited to this celebration? So he decided to take David's wife Bathsheba and go to King David, lying there on his deathbed, and ask who's to be the next king. So David said, "It's supposed to be Solomon. Go ahead and anoint him." So they did. They gathered all the priests and the important people that were still there, and near the tabernacle of God, they anointed Solomon to be the next king. What a young king to take David's place. Well, all the people responded affirmatively and praised God and long live King Solomon. Well, their noise was so loud that the other delegation, where Adonijah proclaimed himself king, heard that news. And he realized that if he is the rightful king, we've got to get out of here. So Adonijah made his way back to that area there. And we see what happens in verse 52. When Solomon heard that Adonijah had come back, he said that if Adonijah proves himself a worthy man, then not one hair of his head should fall to the earth. But if wickedness is found in him, he shall die. So Adonijah had come to the altar and bowed before there. And King Solomon sent him, and he said, "You can go to your house." Now, the reason I mentioned verse 52 and 53 is to show the wisdom of Solomon, even as a very young king. Now, what had happened if Adonijah had come and Solomon just out of revenge killed him? The whole Israel people would have just been put in a civil war or turmoil. But because of Solomon's wisdom, he did not give revenge on him unless he later proved himself not worthy. So here you have Solomon as the new young king with all the problems that had happened, with all the competition from all these brothers. Well, in our next series, we'll be showing you the wisdom of Solomon. So I hope to see you tomorrow.